And you're now listening to TLKInfamous.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 11 of Talk Infamous. You got your boy Saint here, and we also got Social Lee.
Hey guys.
How was your day, your week? How's it going so far?
My week was good, very productive. I'm enjoying this weather. I love this New York weather right now.
It's definitely some great weather, so we got to do something. We got to definitely catch up afterwards.
Link up, right?
Yes. But this week we decided that we wanted to talk about, Young Thug, and kind of correlated to, the systematic system of hip hop and the prison industrial complex. So of course we want to get into what's going on recently right now with Young Thug. As you guys may know, I think it was May 19th, his home was raided, and him, along with 28 other members of the YSL gang, well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call it gang, but his label partners, as well as Gunna, were arrested, and they were indicted with 56 charges, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As of now, no evidence have been made public, so we don't know really the official update of whether they're innocent or not. But I do know that I think currently we know that Gunna and Young Thug, they're I think they were trying to, what's it called?
Legal charge?
The legal charge, but they were also trying to set for bail, but the bail was kind of denied. So right from what I've seen so January 2023 is when their court date is going to be in session. Yeah. I
was like, I think you told me this yesterday, right?
Yes. I was kind of thrown back when I seen that, but
so that means Gunna wait, is it Young Thug his court date is not until 23rd as well, 2023?
I believe I only seen Gunna, so I don't want to misconstrue anything.
All right, well, Gunna, that's still crazy because that means he has to wait inside a jail or prison for a whole year before he's even see a court.
Right.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not looking good so far, but like you said, they are in it for the RICO charges. Do you want to go a little bit about what that is, or should I kind of?
You could.
Great. So yeah, so for people who don't know, which is kind of news to me, so pretty much a RICO charge is pretty much it was made at the time when the mafia gangs were popular, and it made it really easy. It made it really easy for the federal prosecutors to
tie in everybody that's associated with any type of project or what they would say as a gang.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the charges consist of racketeering, extortion, and cohorts of conspiracy. So it's pretty much like you said, it's basically just trying to get everybody under one umbrella and kind of make them go under for the same charges, rather than individually sniping people out.
The thing is the thing is, right? So they're still trying to say is YSL a gang or label. Now, the history of a lot of black clubs or black groups, they will always try to depict it as a gang because once you depict it as a gang, then you can depict it as, it's a threat to society. So they're putting other people in harm's way. But YSL did start off as it was a group of people. Yeah. Allegedly, they're saying that the gang was really called Young Slime Life.
Yeah.
And but
they converted it to a official
name. What is it?
Label where they're just citing artists.
Yes, they changed the acronym as well. I forgot what the acronym they changed it to for YSL for the label, but it's kind of a tricky situation because a lot of stuff that they showed on media and just the music that they rapped about was kind of depicting gang activity. So it's kind of blurred lines, and it makes it harder for them to try to make a case.
And that's kind of the thing too is it may be blurred lines to the outsiders, or even to them they may seem like it's blurred lines. But I was watching a video, and one of the guys he was a former inmate, he was in the system. He pretty much said once you declare yourself a gang, whether it's in music or social media, and those words come out your mouth, you become a target to the federal system. You are, because you're pretty much saying that you're part of an ongoing criminal enterprise.
Yeah, and I feel it's stupid. Not even just the police and authority. You also have other people that may deem themselves as a gang, or they may feel like you're a threat to whatever they're going on, and you're still promoting that type of image where you may not even necessarily be a part of that gang. Matter of fact, I do want to bring up Ruby Rose. You heard of her, right?
Ruby Rose, she's an
up-and-comer singer rapper, and so she did an interview I think last month, And they asked her, like, why you be throwing gang signs up in your pictures and stuff? Like, are you associated with the gang? And you know what she said? She said, oh, it's just for show. Like, I'm supposed to look cute type thing. And I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we doing? Throwing gang signs is pretty. Like, it's cute. Can you just throw up the peace sign? Keep it simple. But that's just a situation right then and there where a lot of people that's really onto this social media life and displaying their life for others, that they want to show an image so badly, and they're not really thinking ahead of time, like, what will this show if there is a situation that pops off? Like,
right.
I can't backtrack from what I did or showed on,
And
Instagram.
then they want to cry wolf when like situations like this happen. Yeah. And I feel like for me, when I initially heard the news, I think for a lot of people, I think the popular thing was to do like, yo, free YSL, free
Young
Thug.
Thug.
But in my mind, and it wasn't until I watched the video, which kind of like, put it in perspective for me and showed me like, you know what, I'm not wrong for not, siding with that group of people who say, free, because at the end of the day, I feel like as a Black community, we have to get better at, holding our community accountable,
yeah.
Especially when it comes to hip hop, because it does affect Black culture, Black youth, especially Black youth culture. And not, like I said, we don't know the evidence. We don't know whether or not is true or not. What charges they're going to be faced with, what charges are going to be found to, actually in prison now. But right now it doesn't look good, because like they said with RICO charges, if you're getting indicted with a RICO charge, it means that they have something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that Gunna is not being seen until January 2023, it has to be something that's going to be drawn out when those files are made public.
Yeah, I feel like it is just a sad situation, because, like, let's say you're really there to do music, and now you're just associated with this group of people that you're not necessarily, involved in those criminal activities. And allegedly, it wasn't even about Young Thug at one point. It was about Birdman, because Birdman was basically the one that was trying to, like, basically networking and connecting all these people and putting people on. And I think Young Thug at one point was under Birdman, like he was kind of like his mentor. But they were saying that like Birdman is somewhat involved in this, and that a lot of people that kind of see what was going on, they kind of stepped away. I was watching something where they were saying like a lot of people didn't want to be around Birdman or Young Thug because they didn't want like these charges to be around them. Mm-hmm. A person like Lil Wayne, he's been in the industry for a minute. Allegedly, they're saying that he stepped away as well and kind of stopped making music and got out of the limelight for those particular reasons, because he kind of seen that this was going to happen in the future. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's a bigger issue. I feel like hip hop and gang culture is a trap. In a sense that when, these artists, like someone like Birdman, if he is involved, but even someone who's like Young Thug, who's a part of it, when you are able to make it out, quote unquote, make it out, and, able to supersede, your current situation and, make all this money and make all this wealth, I feel like a lot of times, especially if you are if you are partaking in gangsta rap or hip hop, you feel this need of, okay, I have to keep this going. Like I have to still be in the streets. I have to still be active, because if I'm not,
that was your persona when you came to the market.
Yeah,
people was buying your music because you was showing this type of image. Now they you got to make sure you keep showing that image so you keep getting those sales.
Because if you're not, then everyone's looking at you like, oh, you changed, or like, oh, you're not really about that life, and yada yada yada. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So that's why it's like, we do have to. That's why I do sympathize with them, but also I also feel like we have to be able to take accountability for our own actions, and let our culture know, like, there's certain things that are toxic within our culture that we need to fix, because they shouldn't have to go through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I do want to emphasize what you said about like the free Young Thug and free Gunna.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like we can't always say like free this person because they could have did the crime. They could have killed 20 people, whoever, etc. But also too, like me personally, I'm against the prison system. I won't say no matter what you did, but I don't believe in the prison system. It doesn't work. And so I would never want a black person, any white person, anybody to experience living in prison, because it's like torture.
And that's when you say free them, that's what you mean.
Well, I mean, I don't use that terminology, but I'm saying like I can
sympathize with that message.
Sympathize with that message. I don't necessarily agree with that message because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody belongs in prison.
That's true.
I believe that people belong in rehabilitation centers that actually helps them change the way they think and kind of improve their direction. But can't do it.
So maybe we should just like go into like, the labels and their involvement with this. Like for me, like I was watching a little interview and it consisted of Rakim. He's like one of the OG rappers like back in the day.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. He definitely came from a different era of hip hop. And he basically was talking about how like these labels actively sign black rappers who are promoting violence and then as a result, we are listening to them and we are invested in them. Our frequency is lowering, and like the conscience of the streets of the black community is being distorted and being misconstrued. And I feel like that's a big point. Like I think that's a big point to make, just because like a lot of times, I think we do have control, but also we got to know that there are bigger power
at play.
Yeah,
I agree with that because like you have. It's crazy because I was thinking about what's that young man that's Polo G, right? He was in Florida and he was just touring and he got stopped by the cops, and basically they was like just doing too much, and his mother had to step in. Like he didn't have nothing on him.
Yeah.
Basically like everything was just a front. Like you was just trying to criminalize my black rapper son. And that's a trend. Like literally you have Kodak Black that went inside, Youngboy NBA. You have Lil Meech, is it Lil Meech that's in
yeah.
Lil Meech, you have a lot of different artists in the past 10 years that's going in and out of prison. And the crazy thing is, if you look at the patterns, a lot of these people that's going in and out of jail, they're at the peak of their career.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, right, as a music label, that you sign these people on knowing their criminal activity, right? And now all of a sudden these charges are coming up to display, and now they're getting charged with these crimes. I don't think that's
there's definitely like I think Mona said it in her podcast. There's like hip hop police.
It's hip hop police, and there's a plot. Like literally, they really set them up. Yeah. So I just think it's crazy. And I just want to like go into some of the facts, right? So you have a lot of different recording companies and labels. You have Warner Records, Universal Music Group, Sony Music Group that controls about 90% of the depiction of hip hop, right? So at the same time, you have Core Civic, CCA Correction Corporation of America, and GEO Group, which are mostly private companies that own private beds in prisons and other contracts and agreements within the prison industrial complex system. So you telling me, right, if those same people have ties to these music labels, you're not telling me that they're not going to find a way to lead people to the freaking the sheep. What's that thing called? Lead the sheep to the freaking pen.
Yeah,
Is that the word? Yeah. So I just feel like it's really like
and no, you bring a
plot.
Yeah, you bring a great point, because like even in rap music, like especially in the early 2000s, if you watch the videos, rap music promotes prison in a sense. Like it seems like in the rap industry, especially in gangsta rap, which is like now just rap and hip hop period. Like gangsta rap is just rap and hip hop. There's no different.
You said gangsta rap is what?
Yeah, it's like before then there was rap and hip hop, and you could you could differentiate it. But now like everything, gangsta rap is just influenced everything. It's like gangsta rap is hip hop and rap now. Like there's no different forms of rap, at least the ones that are being pushed to the forefront, and those are like the major ones. But even then, like you watch those videos and they promote prison as a rite of passage, a rite of passage in the black community. Like if you are if you are going to jail, it's seen like something that's honorable within the black community, and they kind of promote that message in videos. There used to be like videos like 50 Cent. Like 50 Cent was in
Get Rich or Die Trying.
That, but I'm talking about his video when it's like a scene where
he's in a prison.
Yeah, rapping. I think it's in the club, right? It's called In the Club. In the Club, that's the song?
I said he was in the prison. You talking about In the Club.
50 Cent, the song In the Club.
In the Club, yes. He was in the club, popping music, but he also had a song where he was in jail.
That's rapping. A song.
That's the same song?
Remember, I don't want to sing the song. I'm probably going to sound stupid. But you don't know the biggest 50 Cent song when he's like in the club? I think that I'm probably getting the name wrong. Party in the Club?
Nah, I know the song you're talking about, In the Club.
Yeah.
All right, so what about In the Club?
There's a scene where he's in jail.
Okay.
No, I'm bugging now. That was
makes it too. Listen,
he was in the gym. He was in the gym. My fault.
We definitely gotta do some throwbacks on 50 Cent videos. But I just want to say how the narrative kind of changed because, like you said, it was just a regular rap. And you had Gangsta Rap, and I feel like
once Gangsta Rap came over,
I think Ice Cube came out with that song "Fuck the Police," and then you had Tupac that was kind of trying to talk about the socioeconomic status and a lot of the tribulations that people of poverty have to go through within Black communities. That's how they kind of started talking about some of the stuff that they have to do to make that buck, some of the stuff that they have to do to survive. And then it kind of like, it started trending because a lot of people really wanted to talk about what they go through. But I feel like the narrative has changed in the early 2000s where now it's not even about talking about your socioeconomic status and bringing up information that people should know so they could be more aware. Now it's about showing your rep. Like, yeah, I'm a badass and this is what I do. I shoot people. That's the type of narrative that they're depicting now. And then you have a lot of youth, like Youngboy NBA. When I first seen him, he was like, what? He looked like a little baby to me. He was 17 years old with his little AK-47s allegedly, and his guns and his videos and all this. Yeah. And I'm like, that's the whole purpose of you allegedly trying to conspire and have a group of people so you guys can eat was just for you to make a living and survive. Yeah. Now it's more like, yeah, I'm the baddest and I'm not going to even front. This is what I do. I shoot people. And that's kind of like the trend where people, it's just like they're getting tricked. And a lot of these kids is not understanding that. They're following the trend.
Yeah, because I have like little siblings, especially my little brothers, and I see when they get angry, or like this in general, they listen to the music, but I see like when they get angry, what they do, go in their room and they blast all this.
Gangsta Rap, right?
And I'll just be like, it doesn't do them any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just honestly perpetrates it and encourages it because you on that same type of frequency that the artist is singing about. Right.
And I feel like I think when people like, it's not to get misconstrued. Like, I think artists should be able to tell their stories, but at some point, you know, especially when you elevate and, you know, you've made it out the hood, like your story should not be the same. And
you know what's so funny?
There's one more point. And I feel like hip hop, like I feel like it's not about, okay, we got to make it positive and stuff like that. I mean, you can still give real authentic messages without talking about violence and talking about shooting people.
Because you have Mos Def or Yazine Bey, you have J. Cole, you have a lot
great examples.
Kendrick Lamar, you have a lot of different artists that find ways to finesse
and you can also make really fun music like back then when Diddy was rapping and stuff like that. He made feel good hip hop music.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say, like, that's so true that a lot of these rappers, they've been out in the game for a minute. Listen, I like Meek Mill, right? I like some of his music, but Meek Mill, he's still singing the same rap as if he's still in Philly shooting people to survive. You know you got money. Why are you still talking about this gangster rap? Why are you not painting a picture of difference for younger Black youth? And I'm not gonna say he doesn't. He do have a few songs, but his collection and music that he still chooses to put out still embellishes that gang life.
Right.
So you're right. Like, why are you still rapping about stuff that you already passed?
It's the trap.
It's the trap. Would you say JayZ talks about different? Because I know he used to talk about that stuff when he was younger, but I haven't heard him talk about any of that stuff.
So I can't lie because I don't really listen to JayZ, and I'm not like a huge rap. Like, because it never really resonated with me. Like, the people that kind of like when I started getting into rap is like the few people that caught my attention was Kanye West, was Drake at the beginning because they felt different.
You like Chance the Rapper?
I love Chance the Rapper. He's another great one.
You listen to rap. You just you don't listen to gangster rap.
Yeah. So those are the people who always caught my attention. Now with JayZ, I know that he has evolved, and the things I hear about him rapping now, it's always about
money moves.
Yeah, he's talking about his money moving. He's talking about being a rich businessman. So even before then, you know, a lot of people always talk about because JayZ, he didn't really pop until he was in his late 20s. So he always had a different mindset and a different level of maturity when it came to his rap. He always even when he talked about, you know, gangster stuff, it always came from a different perspective, a more elevated.
I can agree with that.
Tone. So I feel like he does. I mean, of course, he does talk about certain things like that. But I haven't really kept up with him. And I feel like the stuff, like I said, the things I hear is just talking about him being a businessman.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because he's a businessman.
And you know, JayZ has a track record. But like right now, and the crazy thing is like he's a person that has millions of followers. Yeah. And he's not getting caught up in situations like this because he's actually thinking and being aware of stuff that he puts out. Right. He knows that whatever you put out, whomever can control a narrative. And definitely as a Black person that's making money and has a big influence, you're a threat to society. And if you are going to be a threat, then how are we going to use that threat in a way that that benefits us in terms of the white agenda?
Right.
So I just think like those are some things to think about when you are producing music, when you are listening to music, and when you are encouraging this music. Kodak Black, I don't care for Kodak Black. I do have people in my life that listen to him, but I forgot they was getting on Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick Lamar basically he talks about like black empowerment. You know, he's a conscious brother, but then when he had Kodak Black featured on his album, and a lot of people was upset about that because you're still you're encouraging this. You're still leading people to listen to Kodak Black. By you featuring him, you're indirectly putting him on as well.
You're co-signing him.
You co-signing him.
Yeah, and I feel like and that goes back to us as black people. Like we have to be very cautious of who we allow to bring to the forefront. Just because, like I said, we have no time. We already a target. I think we already have so much work to do on ourselves and our community that we can't be making these habits. I just want to read something that that I took away from this video. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, so it's not exactly my words, but he basically said hip hop is a self-destructive spirit. I think it's very important that we as black people reflect and rethink the state of our culture, particularly the current state of hip hop culture, because it's one of the major vehicles that we have and that is used to implant our values and morals into our culture. Music, song, and rhythm and dance is a culture that evolves, moving in tandem at the same frequency and in synchronicities. I'm mad with that word. So we have to take accountability and be mindful for some of the negative things we allow and encourage to be pushed to the forefront, because the culture of hip hop / rap is supposed to enrich, defend, advance the interests of our culture and our community.
I love that.
We no longer have the right. Sorry. Oh yeah, we no longer have the right to negative behaviors. Well, we had basically saying we have no longer to accept negative behaviors as just purely as entertainment.
Yeah.
And for a very long time, he just talked about like how hip hop it has been colonized by white people and is destroying the real meaning of hip hop. And I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Damn, who said this?
It was like a preacher. And it was crazy. He was a preacher. So it was like just to see that he was like in tune with the hip hop itself, and he wasn't coming from a place of judgment, but just trying to like provide a lesson for the youth. Because like I think hip hop is youth culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as music evolves, before it was jazz, before it was blues, and then it was rock and roll. These are all things that were rooted in blackness, and it came from black youth. And we see how over time how those things got taken from us and misconstrued, and especially the black people who were the pioneers, and see how they were treated, and then see how the white people were treated and are able to go further. I think we just got to be mindful of that. Like for me, like it's crazy to me to believe that the best-selling hip hop artist is guess who that is? Best-selling hip hop artist
as of like this year.
And no, as in sales as an overall hip hop artist.
Oh wow.
Who would you think?
Damn.
Just take a guess.
But the person top of my head, I just want to say Kodak because people
best-selling of all time.
Of all time.
Yes, as far as record sales.
Nah, definitely not him.
So who?
Maybe Tupac?
Nope, Eminem, and then after that is Drake. So you have a white man, and then you have a mixed race black man. Drake is half black, half Jewish, but that just shows you like how embedded racism is within our culture, but also just in hip hop, like something that was made for us is now like, that's why when Eminem took the knee, I'm like, at first, I was like proud of it, but now that I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, he had no other choice but to, you know what I mean? Well, but it's kind of,
you talking about the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
when
Super Bowl.
He took the knee. Did he take the knee? Because I don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't support the Super Bowl, but he took the knee along with the other artists like Mary J.
Nah, he was the only one who took the knee.
See, look, you see this? You see?
Yeah, and it's all like what they said. It's all for show. It's like a nice little little cookie to the black people.
Yeah, like honestly, when I've heard that, I just kind of like rolled my eyes because it's like, First of all, that's not genuine. And even if it was genuine, I don't think you had the right to do that. Definitely, if you didn't have Mary J. Blige's other artists that was taking a knee, you didn't have the right to do that.
I think he did. I think it was calculated. Like they did that because it's like, oh, why should we have to take a knee because we're black? I think he was trying to be an ally, and I think his intentions meant well. But in the grander scheme of things, I feel like these are the kind of conversations we need to have because that knee doesn't mean anything.
His intentions meant well, but he also has a PR team that knows the different perspectives that you would get from that, and that was,
right. But yeah. Do you have anything like last?
Yeah, so I do want to tell y'all, right? Yeah. So just so y'all know, right? Because y'all want to figure out like why are these music labels are so embedded in getting these artists to prison?
Yeah.
Like we said, they have ties and other agreements with other companies that have institutions that make money from prisons, right? But let's talk about how much money they make. So on average, right, an average inmate that the government pays for is about $33,000 and as low as $14,000 in Alabama, but as high as $69,000 in New York.
Wow.
So you telling me that if I owned a prison, right, I would get at least $15,000 to $70,000 just by having one person in my prison. Now that's just the money. That's like your salary. Now you're getting commission because they make so much money from these other situations. Like you have JPay that made They made about $50 million in revenue in 2013, and I'm pretty sure that has skyrocketed because they found new ways to make money.
This is like getting the inmates inside alone.
Say that one time.
This is like them just getting the inmates inside the prisons alone.
Yes, that was the government. What the government pays, which is the average of $33,000.
And this has nothing to do with the money they also make by because I know there's like factories and jobs that they.
That's just the government money because the government have to pay you to house this person, so they're gonna give you the money. Now they make the money as well from JPay, which just in case you guys don't know, those are how people communicate with their loved ones in and out of prison, whether it's through the JPay website or the JPay phone call. But like I said, they made $50 million. I just found out they have a credit card. I can't believe it. They have a whole credit card. And I do have some good news. They are going to be getting, actually there's a lawsuit filed against JPay because they was overcharging inmates.
Wow.
Which honestly
is not surprising.
It's nothing new. It's nothing new. But it's just crazy. But besides all that, there's other ways they make money. They make money from, like you said, the manufacturing. You have people that's getting to, on average, they make about $2 per hour. And if that, some people don't make nothing. So they getting free labor. So why wouldn't a music label that has ties with corporations in the prison system not want to try to push them to that route?
And we all know like governments and companies and corporations, they all lobby and they shake hands and everyone knows each other. So it's definitely they create these relationships, and there's none of this is a coincidence.
None of this is a coincidence. But like if we know this, right? You saying like
we could take back our power.
It's nothing surprising about this. The thing is like, how do we change our narrative? We just talked about the situation that Young Thug and Gunna is going through,
right?
And you have still like a whole sleeve of artists that's still doing the same thing. How do those artists learn from these situations that keep repeatedly happening? How do you change the narrative? And I did reference a lot of artists that's doing the right thing or trying to stay away from that avenue of music and finesse like Chance the Rapper. Do you think it's easy for artists to promote their music and be on social media and do what they do on the side?
I just feel like it just goes back to us as consumers, just realizing the power that we have to shift the paradigm. Like I said, we are the ones who make the majority. So if we are the ones who feed it into like, the gangsta rap and all this stuff, we have to be able to like, no, this is not okay. And refocus our direction into giving shine to other artists who are in hip hop and who are in rap, who are doing things differently. I just think that's what it is. It's about us just shifting the paradigm, just so these artists could be like mindful
of what they're doing. And I just want to say I definitely wish the best to like YSL, Gunna, and Young Thug, because these situations aren't so black and white, especially if you grew up with people who are in similar situations like this and like the struggle. I wouldn't even say the struggle. I hate that word.
but you know the nuance of these situations. I don't want to say struggle because I don't want to keep on equating blackness to being living in a struggle.
Right.
But these situations are nuanced, and it's more than black and white. So I definitely want to say my prayers to them and say my love, but also I want to hold them accountable. And at the end of the day, like, you know, if there was some situations that went wrong, that they did some wrongdoings, it's up for them to take accountability and, you know, pay the price, and hopefully they come out a better person.
Yeah, and like you said, a better person, and hopefully
changed.
they can improve other people that they're affecting, because
yes,
young Thug, he put a lot of people on as well that's still following his footsteps. So it's a tricky situation.
Right.
Hopefully you guys find some way to uplift your spirits, even though a lot of our media is being penetrated and colonized by white people.
Right.
But like you said,
right.
Thank you again for listening.
Yeah, so make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and share on all platforms, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
I ain't talking too much, I only say what I mean. I bring the whole city out every time that I'm home. How you all about business, but don't be minding your own. Don't forgive me for my sins, I'm just trying to atone. I'll let it be well known. Yeah. Daydreaming while I'm scheming on a text. Steady plotting as I'm thinking on the next. Yeah. Confident although I found myself compressed. Overthinking, worrying, I must confess. Yeah. Even though sometimes I wish I was exaggerating, and all my problems were just figments of imagination. The smartest nigga who had dropped out, fuck your graduation. I think that shit a fucking scam, somebody had to say it. Caught up in the matrix, shit, I had to find a way out. Lost too many niggas, swear this shit is getting played out. Student loan forgiveness, all my debt was finally paid out. Appreciate this shit because the gutter I come straight out. The bottom of bottoms to the top of the tops. And that power washing van that I just bought from